So you may have heard of these buzzwords agentic AI and AI agents, but what exactly do they mean, and how are they different from the traditional Gen AI use cases that we've already seen in the field? And so to break this down, I want to actually go through the evolution of generative AI at this stage, starting with simple LLM calls, direct LLM calls, moving into AI workflows, single agent use cases, and then ultimately multi-agent use cases or agentic AI systems. And you can think about this as a progression, with each phase bringing more and more autonomy and ultimately more value and less human oversight. And I want you to pay attention to that last point again. Less human oversight and control the farther we move down the system. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So let's start with the basics. You ask ChatGPT a question and it gives you an answer. See, it's pretty simple. However, it's only limited to the information that it's actually been trained on. But what if it could read your policy documents first, or even scan a database ahead of time? Now, this is considered the smart LLM call territory, where now it has additional context and it can obtain that programmatically. It still uses an LLM call directly, but with additional help from tools like Retrieval Augmented Generation or RAG, you can actually programmatically get additional context to improve the answer. But it's still just one question in, one question out. It's a single output with little or no memory capabilities, no tools, and no planning on how to answer the question. And you, the human, are still in full control. So let's move on to the next phase, AI workflows. So this is where LLMs start handling actual business tasks, but they do it in a predefined structure. These are typically chained LLM calls or steps with a specific flow, and the goal here is to automate repetitive tasks. And you might even add human approval steps along the way. But ultimately, the LLM helps move the process along, and it doesn't choose what to do or when to do anything outside of its predefined workflow. And so I've implemented this a lot personally. For example, I did this in the legal space, where lawyers have a predefined way of actually analyzing a legal contract. And the AI will now go step by step through each legal requirement, awaiting approvals along the way. So as you can see, we still have strong human involvement, but now time-consuming workflows get faster, and employees now have more time and more free time to focus on higher value tasks. Now next up is single AI agents. And this is where Gen AI moves from co-pilot into actual operator itself. In earlier steps, the model will give you a draft, but you would still have to edit it, make changes, and maybe send it on the way somewhere else. It's not freeing you up entirely, but a single agent ultimately changes this entire concept. Now, instead of following a script like in AI workflows, the AI can now reason, think through its own path on how to solve the problem, utilize tools, and actually act accordingly. And so why is this the case? Since LLMs have been trained on so much text, they've actually learned to think in logical ways. And so this allows them to ask themselves their own questions, explore different options, and even revise their own answers, all the while not needing any human involvement whatsoever. But here's the real breakthrough. AI agents aren't limited to just writing text. They can also act by themselves. And so it can use tools like APIs, access databases, or internal systems to actually interact with the outside world. So now an AI agent can look something up, it can submit a form, it can even trigger the next process, all without human involvement. And this is the overall shift. It's not just assisting you, it's actually operating autonomously. Now let's take this one step further with agentic systems. Agentic systems take the idea of a single agent, but expand it into a network of specialized agents, all working together to achieve a larger goal. But you may be asking yourself, why use multiple agents? Why not just use a single agent? Well, the answer comes down into specialization. See, if each agent is focused on one task, think document extraction, writing summaries, or even compliance checks, it can do it with higher precision. And so in one project I worked on, we created a dedicated extraction agent to pull information from complex legal documents. And other agents would be able to call it whenever it needed that specialized information. What's even more unique about multi-agent systems is that you can actually use different models for different agents. So for instance, in a legal context, you might need a fine-tuned LLM specifically for the legal domain. And in that case, for that specific agent, you can use a fine-tuned LLM. Now, there are a lot of multi-agent systems out there, but here is a general guideline path on how you can think about it. You'd first have a principal agent, which can actually set goals and manage tasks. You would have service agents, which handle domain-specific workflows. And then you can have task agents which do very specific and specialized actions. Now, this is a hypothetical example. You can make this however you want to, but here's a simple structure that you can follow. And ultimately, they can work in sequence, they can work in parallel, or they can even work in some sort of hybrid approach. And so in short, it's not just smart software anymore. It's not even autonomy on a specific task. It's autonomy on a full workforce. As you can see, AI has grown a lot, originally starting from ChatGPT style prompting, to then AI workflows, to then self-directed agents, and then ultimately a full autonomous team. And each phase increases capability, but it also increases risk as there's less human oversight. But overall, that's why agentic AI and AI agents are more than just a buzzword. It's an ultimate paradigm shift in the AI industry and how to apply it.